going on, guys? Statman12 here, and I got one question for you. What would you like to see from Nintendo Switch Pro? Now, before you answer that question, let me give you the backstory. So last night, I was playing Breath of the Wild, and I was just thinking to myself, how can these guys top this? This game is amazing. If you haven't played it, you're under a rock somewhere, and you don't have access to the Switch, I'm sorry. The Nintendo Switch, man, it's been amazing. It's game-changing console that came out back in 2019, and as you can see, all it's doing is expanding, updating the firmware, and making more amazing games as we speak. Now, if you notice, PS5 that recently dropped, and then the Xbox recently dropped as well. But you probably ask yourself, what happened to Nintendo? Why haven't we had a Switch 2 or a Switch Pro? So let's get into it. I woke up and I was just like, let me see what everybody else was thinking. Maybe I'm not by myself on this. So I went to my favorite website for any console or gaming news, techradar.com. So there was an article here. It says, is a Nintendo Switch 2 on the cards? Meaning, is it anywhere in production anytime soon? So Nintendo Switch 2, what do you want to see from a Nintendo Switch Pro? Now, it's been long rumored that Nintendo is working on a Nintendo Switch 2 or a Switch Pro, whatever they decide to call it. But are there even plans for a follow-up with the original Nintendo Switch? We really don't know. Nintendo hasn't confirmed anything. They're playing it safe. After Nintendo Switch released the Nintendo Switch Lite, it was a little more affordable. The rumors of another Switch, the Switch Pro or Switch 2, if you will, has been speculated back since 2020, offering upgraded hardware with improved graphics and processing power. It began to look a little bit more credible, and it's not going away. Since then, it's been multiple reports that 2021 is going to be the year the Nintendo Switch Pro drops. Like I said earlier, Nintendo Switch haven't spoke on this at all. It's pretty much just rumor mill. Everybody's been saying, oh, Nintendo Switch is going to drop because PS5 and Xbox came out. No, Nintendo's like, nope. And if you read the article, it says Nintendo has already said it's not worried about the PS5 or the Xbox. And if you look at the sales of the Switch, it really doesn't have nothing to worry about right now. 2019, Nintendo released two new Switch devices, the Switch Lite and the Nintendo Switch with improved battery life. However, we're still expecting the House of Mario to have yet another new Nintendo Switch up its sleeve. So there's been several reports, the most notable coming from Bloomberg, that 2021 was Nintendo's year for the Nintendo Switch Pro to drop. However, comments from Nintendo's Doug Bowser have made us feel less certain. According to Bowser, Nintendo is always looking at what is coming to determine how can it enhance and improve the gameplay experience. And whether that's on a current platform or whether that's on a future platform, they're always looking into that. So what I get from that is that instead of a Nintendo Switch 2, they might lean on naming it the Pro because it's pretty much going to be like, the PS4 Pro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be the Switch, but just an enhanced version of the Switch, which I don't see a problem with that at all. I'll buy it. I ain't even gonna lie to you. And he also said that the momentum on Nintendo Switch and the Switch Lite in the fourth year is strong, and we believe we're changing the trajectory of another typical console life cycle, adding that 2020 was the midpoint of this life cycle. So pretty much, guys, the Nintendo Switch or the Switch Lite is not going anywhere anytime soon. So pretty much, like it says, that means they're pretty much in the dark about when a Nintendo Switch 2 might arrive. But stay optimistic, guys, because with these consoles, anything can happen. The Switch Pro may end up being like the PS4 Pro, but then you got to start thinking about cost, right? So in addition, the Switch Lite, it wasn't cheap. It's actually not too far off from the original price, but it had fewer features than the original. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have the original, then you have the Switch Lite, does the same thing, except for you can't take the Joy-Cons off, but does pretty much the same thing. Dr. Toto suggested a price tag of $399, which seems a good estimate. After all, the PS4 Pro is $100 more than the PS4, and people still bought that. The price markup takes into account the improved hardware without being prohibitive. However, this is Nintendo we're talking about, and we wouldn't be surprised to see a Nintendo Switch Pro or 2 cost a tad more than that. I wouldn't be shocked at all. I mean, when we first got news of the PS5, you see how much the games cost? $60 now instead of, no, I'm sorry, $70 now instead of $60. So that raised questions for me, guys. I was just like, you know, what do you guys want from the Nintendo Switch? What was your favorite games on the Switch? What would you see? What type of advancements would you like to see on a new Switch Pro or Switch 2, or if they upgraded, you know, what are those upgrades that you would like to see? 4K, 5K capabilities, you know, maybe you can share videos longer than 30 seconds. So like, what type of advancements would you guys like to see? Because I know for me, I definitely would want to see if they could produce a console that, you know, you don't have to use a capture card or any additional accessories. It just comes like a stream, like a live stream on YouTube or Twitch or Twitter, and, you know, share my gameplay on those different websites without having to go above and beyond just to do the same thing I could do on PlayStation or Xbox. Now, one thing that stood out to me about this article was that Nintendo Switch outsells the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. It says perhaps Nintendo was right not to worry about the launch of the next generation consoles from Sony and Microsoft. According to analytics firm NPD Group, the Switch and Switch Lite garnered a total of 1.35 million sales in the US alone throughout November. In fact, the report also says that Nintendo's hardware is selling even more in 2020 than the previous year, 1 million units more, to a total of 6.92 million, despite now being 3 years into the life cycle. We don't actually have firm numbers for sales of the PS5 and Xbox Series X yet, but the former console is estimated to have sold around 2 million units worldwide across its 2 November launch dates, which stopped drying up soon after. Now, if you guys remember back in 2020, it was pretty much the same how it is now for the PS5 and the Xbox. You cannot find the Switch anywhere. You couldn't go in GameStop, Walmart, Amazon didn't have it. You couldn't buy it from Nintendo, and then all of a sudden they just flooded you guys. So I think that's pretty much going to be how it's going to be for the PS5 and Xbox down the road. We already know that. Now this is interesting. It says standalone Joy-Con patent. A newly discovered patent via VGC suggests that some standalone Joy-Cons have been considered by Nintendo. A newly discovered Nintendo patent suggests that the company may be planning to release a new form of Joy-Con style controller. Now that's dope. It says originally filed in 2018, back in May. The patent shows a controller that's highly similar in shape and layout to the existing Joy-Cons found on the original Switch. However, it is slightly updated, and rather than being designed to slide onto a screen like the current Joy-Cons, this controller appears to be standalone with no rails for sliding in sight. Rumors of a mini LED display, something slightly different from the 4K rumors we've been used to when it comes to Nintendo Switch Pro. We may see a mini LED display replace the current LCD screen. According to the report from Taiwan's Economic Daily News, the still rumored Switch Pro model could sport mini LED screens supplied by Innolux, a well-known manufacturer in the field. The current Switch and Switch Lite consoles use an HD 720p LCD screen. If a new Switch console did have 4K capability, we imagine it'd be in dock mode, with handheld mode offering a slightly boosted full HD 1080p display. That means that thing is gonna look amazing. Upgrading to a mini LED display would make all of those pixels look better than before, as mini LED displays use thousands of tiny individually controlled backlight. Man. Developers to make their Nintendo Switch games 4K ready. Adding weight to previous rumors, the Nintendo Switch has a resolution upgrade up its sleeve with a 4K ready upgraded Switch console. Nintendo's like, we holding our own, we're doing our own thing. We're not worried about PS5 or Xbox. We're doing our own thing over here. We still got numbers growing from 2019 that the PS5 and the Xbox haven't even hit yet. A lot of speculation and rumors surrounding the Nintendo Switch Pro and the different capabilities that it might have. And you guys know how this go. This is how it was for PlayStation, Xbox, and so forth. It's just one of those things of, as a consumer, you're gonna want to speculate, what if it had this? What if this could do this? And it's always going to be a console wars. It's going to be PS5 versus Xbox versus Nintendo. And the thing is, each console gives you different perspectives of gaming. If you notice, each console has its different fan base. And the thing is, what I've admired about Nintendo is the smart. The way how they market, the way how they can bring in retro games to the Nintendo Switch and even integrate it in newer games. Like if you check out Super Mario Maker, you can literally go from 1D, 2D, 3D, it doesn't even matter, and it's all in the same game. Same thing with Super Mario Odyssey. It's amazing how they can do that. And some people like that retro look. It can bring in the older crowd, back when Super Mario first came out, and they could jump right back into it because Nintendo has been very kind to its consumers, man. Like when I played Super Mario Odyssey, and I seen that it goes from 2D back to the 3D, it's amazing. And then that open world with it, that was amazing. Now when we get to Breath of the Wild, that game is 5 out of 5, man. 10 out of 10. That game was amazing, man. I can't even hold you on that. Just seeing that the Switch can have that open world, and it's it's a handheld game. It's handheld. And that's what's amazing. The graphics was amazing too, phenomenal. So guys, as I go through this, that's why I posed the question, what would you guys like to see from the Nintendo Switch Pro or Nintendo Switch 2? Would you like to see a similar PS4 Pro type feel to the Switch, or would you like an advancement to the next console, like scratch the Pro, go straight to the Switch 2? Which one would you guys rather see? And then I'll definitely leave the link in the description below so you guys can follow this article as well. And if you guys are new to my channel, definitely smash that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you can get more videos similar to this one. And as always, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you guys next time.